This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about the JSON, and we have discussed what exactly the JSON and what are the various rules and the principles that we need to follow upon preparing the JSON format of representation, and what are the various data types supported by the JSON format we have discussed. Now let's see each and every data type in detail, and then how can we represent. That already told you, whenever we are going to be representing some information in the form of JSON, JSON is purely a key value pair collection. We are representing the data, okay, we are representing the data in the human readable format, which will be purely in the form of key value pairs. Each and every element will be having a key and a value. And that too, whatever the content that you would like to represent through JSON, that JSON content should be always enclosed with curly braces or flower braces. We have to use curly braces or flower braces in order to represent the JSON content. Whenever, if the content has been enclosed with the flower braces or curly braces, then it is a JSON. It's a JSON format of content. Now, so now let's see in this case here, how can we represent this JSON content, okay, with the different values, different data type values. Now, like as other programming languages, JSON is also supporting few data types. What are the various data types supported by JSON? JSON is supporting 6 data types basically. First one is number, second one string, third one boolean, fourth one array, fifth one object, sixth one null. These are the 6 data types supported by the JSON. JSON is supporting these 6 data types. Now, let's see in this case. Okay, now let's see in this case what exactly each and every data type and then how to represent the data. The first one, number data type. You know already. What do you mean by this number data type? Number data type allows to store what type of data?
Only numbers 0 to 9.
Okay, only 0 to 9.
Decimals also.
Decimals also, right? Now, generally, when you go to your Apex programming, we are having multiple data types as part of the numerical. Like we have integer, we have long, we have decimal, we have double. So when coming to the number data type allows us to store some numerical values, which may be either integer value or it may be decimal values also, anything, whatever it might be. We don't have separate data type for integer, we don't have separate data type for decimal. It may be any value. So in order to store some numerical values, we are using number data type, which includes the decimal values also. Now, it allows us to store the elements. It allows us to store the elements which can have, that means which contains the numerical values including decimal points, values. In order to store the numerical values including decimal point values also, we are using this number data type. Then how can we store this one? What is the syntax? The syntax is, we can specify this is the JSON format, right? We have to enclose with curly braces, and then here we can specify the key. Key should be enclosed with the double quotation, and value you can specify directly. Because when you go to Apex programming, suppose if I'm storing the value some Kiran, then we are enclosing with that single quote because it's a character, it's a string. Suppose if it is a numerical, then we are indicating like a 10,000 directly. Like the similar way, we have to specify the key and then value we no need to enclose in the double quotation. This is the rule we have to follow for numerical elements. Now, you can give any key over here, whatever you want. Okay, you can give any key. And then we can specify the value that is numerical. That value may be purely integer, that value may be decimal, also whatever you want. Now, like for example, I'm indicating customer code. I'm indicating okay 400 okay 501. This is the customer code. So this is the key and this is the value. Okay, this is the key and this is the value. This is the numerical value, right? So don't enclose in the double quotation. Suppose, for example, I would like to store. For example, I would like to store some more values. Customer code or some product code. Product code. I'm indicating 1001. I want to store the customer loan amount or the balance amount. I'm indicating balance amount. Amount is what? It's a decimal value because it will be having rupees and paisa also. So that I would like to indicate because 45,000, okay, 50 paisa, which is having the decimal values also. And then suppose for example, I would like to store a product weight. Product weight. Product weight is like as some 75 kgs, okay, 450 grams. Okay, so it will be having some decimal values. After decimal point, it may be having 2 digits, 3 digits, 10 digits, whatever, anything. It will accept. We don't have separate data types for integer part, for the decimal part. There is no such kind of data types in JSON. JSON is simply having one data type, number. This number data type will allow us to store numerical values. That numerical value may be either purely an integer part, that means which doesn't have decimal values, or it may be decimal value also, which contains some digits after the decimal point. In order to store these numerical values, we are using this number data type. Okay, this is the way we need to represent. Second one, string data type. What exactly the string data type? String data type is used to store the character values. Okay, character values. In order to store that character values, nothing but alphanumerical values. In order to store some alphanumerical values along with some special characters also, whatever you want, we are going to be using the help of string data type. You know, because we no need to explain all these things. You already know. But just the way of representation is different. In Apex, the way of representation is different. Here in JSON, the way of representation is different. Now, in this case, string allows us to store the string elements. String elements means which contains one or more number of characters also, along with the special characters. Depends upon your application requirement, we can able to store these character values inside that element. Now let's see, how can we store? It allows us to store either one or more characters inside the element, which includes the special characters also. Now, in this case, whenever if you want to store some character values, then we are using the help of this string data type. Then what is the syntax? The syntax is we can specify the key and then colon, and then we can specify the value. Both we have to enclose in the double quotation. Both we have to enclose in the double quotation. This is the key and this is the value. Both key and the value will be separated by using a colon symbol. Okay, this is the separator. In order to separate that key and the value pairs, we are using this colon. Now, in this case, how can we store? For example, assume that I'm indicating that customer name. Customer name. I'm giving the name like as Ram Kumar, Ram space Kumar. I want to indicate the industry. Industry, I'm indicating like a some banking. I'm indicating the product name. And then I'm indicating that value. Product name, like a some washing machine. Washing machine. And then I'm indicating address. I'm indicating that address, some flat number 107, okay, RK apartments, and some Srinagar colony. Srinagar colony, Hyderabad. Suppose I want to store some email ID. Email ID. I'm indicating like as ramkumar123@some gmail.com. Like that, whenever if you want to represent some string values which contain some alphabetical characters and some numerical values along with some special characters also, then at that time we have to use the help of this string data type. So string data type allows us to store the string elements, nothing but character elements here. Next, the Boolean. You know, what do you mean by Boolean? Boolean data type allows us to store the elements of either true or false. It allows us to store the value either true or false. See, if one programming one programming language remaining programming languages are very simple. But just the way of representation is different. That's it, nothing else. In Apex, there is a different syntax. In JSON, there is a different syntax. Now tell me these data types are new for us? No. Already we have discussed in Apex programming. Number data type we know, string we know, object we know, null we know, array we know, boolean we know, everything we know. But there in Apex, we are representing different format. In JSON, we are having some different format. That's it. Just we have to know the syntax. The remaining thing will be same. If you know one programming language, remaining programming languages are very easy for you. You can learn by your own. Simple. Now, in this case, the syntax. Now, for that one, we can specify the key, colon, we can specify the value. We no need to enclose in the double quotation because this is a Boolean value, right? Boolean values we no need to enclose in the double quotation. For example, I would like to indicate my key is active, whether the customer is active or not. I'm indicating the value true. Now I'm indicating is in stock. Is the product is in stock? I would like to indicate. So I'm indicating false. So in this case, whenever if you want to store either true or false values, then we have to use the Boolean data type. So Boolean data type will allows us to store either true or false values inside it. Now, the next one. Next data type is array. Now tell me, what do you mean by array? Tell me, what do you mean by an array?
Collection of elements.
Collection of elements means
Collection.
what? What elements?
Homogeneous, sir.
Homogeneous elements. That is the point. I need that. When
Homogeneous
coming to
and
the
heterogeneous.
array, no. Heterogeneous is what? Different elements array won't support. Okay, homogeneous means what? Homogeneous in the sense similar data type of element. So when coming to the array, array allows us to store a collection of elements of homogeneous type. That means homogeneous means same data type element, similar data type elements you can store. But heterogeneous elements we can't store. Different types of elements can't be hold inside the array. To overcome that, we go with the collection. Collection will be supposed to store both homogeneous and heterogeneous, but array won't support. Now, so in this case here, when coming to the array allows us to store a collection of elements of homogeneous, a collection of homogeneous elements. That means similar data type elements. Okay, arrays allows us to store a collection of elements of similar data type. And then whenever we are storing the array value should be always enclosed with square braces. Now, array values should be always enclosed with square braces. Square braces. Okay, this is the fundamental rule as part of array when coming to the JSON format. Like for example, let me explain.
So can we pass the values dynamically here?
Yes, we can pass.
Okay, that
We
time,
can pass
like how many
uh,
batches we can generate? I mean, like how many?
batches?
I mean, if how many records we can generate?
Multiple also we can do.
Okay.
For that one, we can use a class called as a JSON generator. Okay, JSON generator. To generate that JSON format through programmatically, okay, for this one, we can pass the values dynamically at runtime. We no need to hard code these values. These values we can pass dynamically at runtime. Okay.
So this is basically passing of records, right? That's it, right?
Right. Because here, whenever we are going to be passing some records to that external system, then we are using this kind of notation.
Okay.
Okay. Now, key, and then you can specify the value. Value should be, we have to specify in the form of, okay, the square root or square braces. Here we can specify the value 1, comma, value 2, comma, value 3, comma, like that we can able to specify that value in. This is
For
where
single
we
key,
have to
we
represent.
can add multiple values.
That's what array, right? This is the name of the array. This is like as a
Okay.
variable name. This is the value. Like the similar way, this is the array name. These are the values in my array. Simple concept. Key means a variable name. Value means that value in that variable. That's it. Simple.
Okay. In Apex, we will be declaring as new. Here, we just mention the name and we enter the values.
That's it. Right.
Oh.
Simple.
Okay.
Now, so in this case here, whenever we are storing some multiple values inside an array, that array should be always, okay, represented with the help of square braces. Square braces means array. That already I have given this information also to you. Okay, already I have given this information also to you. Where I have given this information? During your web services. During your web services concept, already I have given this information also to you. How to pass multiple records to my web service? Already I have showed this example as well. A practical example also I have given to you. See, this is one record element. This is one record. This is the second record here. Okay. Then we have enclosed like as an array. This is the square braces. Square braces means array. We are passing multiple records also. Okay. This is one element. This is another element. Okay. Now you know all these concepts. Okay. Almost most of the syntaxes you know. Now. So now in this case, specify the key and then specify the value. So value should be multiple because array can able to store a collection of elements of homogeneous type. So in this case, how can we represent this? Now, let me show you practically in this case. For example, assume that I want to store a collection of customer codes. Go with that flower braces and specify the array name. Array name is I'm indicating customer codes. And then what customer codes you want to store, we can specify. We can specify that array. So customer codes are numerical type for me. So that I'm indicating 101001, 1006 or 5, 1009, 1015, 1026. Like that, we can able to store the customer codes by separating the comma. By separating a comma, we can able to store the multiple elements also, which are of type similar data type over here. Different types of elements we can't store inside my array. So we are going to storing a collection of customer codes. Customer code is of type a numerical value, so that here I'm storing multiple customer codes also inside this array by separating a comma. Suppose I want to store some country names. Country names. Country names are of type what? String, like as India. I'm indicating. So in this case, if it is a string type of element, we have to enclose with that single quote. India, comma, USA, comma, UK, comma, Japan, comma, China, comma, Middle East. Like that, we can able to pass. This is a way. So if it is a numerical type of values, these numerical values we can able to pass directly. If it is a string type of values, then string values has to be enclosed with single quote inside that array. This is one value of my array. This is my array name, like as country names. This array contains these are the various elements are available inside this. This is how we are going to be representing. Okay, this is how we are going to be representing that arrays.
Yeah, Firoz, if I want to get more than 50,000 or more than 50,000, how can I get the records from external system?
Sorry?
If I want to get more than 50,000 records from external system, how can I get it?
Now from the external system, then they will be collecting the data. Whatever the data they need, okay, we can able to collect by using the database that get query locator method. Database that get query locator method will collect the records, okay, from the database. Yeah, okay, that will be up to 50 million. We can collect those records. We can store into the can represent into the JSON format. The data we can pass. We are having some bulk APIs. Through bulk APIs, you can able to process some millions of records also, not only 50,000. Lakhs of records you can process. Millions of records you can process.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Now.
Okay, Firoz. Yeah, thank you.
Next. The next element here, the next data type is object. What do you mean by object? What do you mean by an object here?
Is this standard objects like it? I mean, like accounts.
Then what it contains?
Collection of instance.
Collection of values. Now tell me,
Yeah,
those will be of same data type or different data type?
it's a different data.
Different data type, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a different data type. So now here in this case here, okay, now here in this case, When coming to the object, okay, object is a data type which allows us to store a collection of elements of different data types. In order to store the different types of elements, we are going to be using that object. Like for example, I want to store a customer details. Related to one customer, I'm having some details like customer code, customer name, age, phone number, email ID, address, his salary, whether customer is active or not. Now tell me, all are same data type values? No, different data type values. Customer code is numerical, age is numerical, name is string, data birth, date, that is also of type string. Customer is active or not, this is nothing but Boolean. Balance amount is numerical. Address string. Different types of elements are there. At that time, we are using object. So object data type allows us to store a collection of elements of heterogeneous data types. In order to store the heterogeneous data types of elements, we are using object. Now, so now here in this case, let's see. Like as your collection. Now, object data type allows us to store a collection of elements, a collection of heterogeneous elements. Heterogeneous elements. Now, in this case, what we can do, multiple elements we can store. Okay, multiple elements. And each element will be separated by using a comma. Now, each element in the object should be separated by using a comma. By using a comma. Object should be object elements. Elements should be enclosed with curly braces. Object elements should be enclosed with curly braces. Now, in this case, how can we define the syntax? Here we can specify the JSON format of notation. This is the JSON format of notation. We can specify the key, name of the object, and then value, what it contains, multiple values of different data types. Then we can specify one flower braces and one more closing. Here we can specify that this is the key and this is the value. Here we can specify the key and then we can specify the value. Any type of value, comma, second key, that means second element, key and the value, comma, key and the value. Like that we can able to specify key and the value. This is the format. This is the key and this is the value. Value is nothing but an object, so which contains a collection of elements of heterogeneous data type. We can specify customer code. This is the numerical. Customer name and the string. And the boolean, the decimal, like a salary amount. This is like a numerical. Is active boolean. Like that we can able to define. Now, so now here in this case, how can we represent this customer code, customer data here? Whenever if you want to represent the customer's data, then what we can do? Now, let me take a small use case here. How can we do that? For example, let me give you one example. I would like to store some customer data. In this case, I am giving the key as customer record. And then the value. We can specify the value here. We can specify the value. So when coming to the customer record, it is having some set of elements are there. Like it is having the customer code. Okay, it is having the customer code. customer code, colon 1001, comma, customer name. I'm indicating some Santosh Kumar. Santosh Kumar. And then address. I'm indicating some Hyderabad. And then email address. That means email ID. I'm indicating Santosh @ some gmail.com. And then I'm indicating age, numerical, like some 34. And then balance amount, customer balance amount, like some 45,600. That 50 paisa. And then I'm indicating is active, whether the customer is active or not. I'm indicating true. This is how we are representing an object. So whenever we are representing this object is also having the key and the value. So now this is called as an object representation, which contains one customer data, one product data, one position data, one lead data, whatever, anything, one employee data, one student data, anything, whatever you want. So object means what? It contains a collection of elements of heterogeneous data type. This is numerical, this is string, this is string, this is string, this is numerical, this is numerical, this is Boolean. Like the different types of elements we can store inside it. So now this entire thing we have to enclose in the JSON, because here this is the JSON format of representation. This is the JSON format of representation. So here we have to specify the key and the value. Value should be enclosed with that curly braces. In this object here, we will be having so many collection of elements are there, different data types, but each and every element will be separated by using a comma. This is one element, this is the second element, this is the third element, this is the fourth element. A group of heterogeneous elements is called as object. A group of heterogeneous elements are called as object in JSON. This is the way that we are going to be representing that. Okay, this is the way we are representing in this case. Now, in this case here, for example, let me give you some use cases. Let me explain. Take a small use case. Let me show you. For example, assume that I'm having my Salesforce instance. For example, this is the lead record that I have. Like we are having the lead record name Beta Boxer. So the first name is Beta, last name is Boxer. It is having company name, title, lead source, industry, annual revenue, phone number, fax number, email ID, status, rating, address. Now I want to display this information. I want to represent this lead record data in the form of JSON. That is my requirement. How to represent this lead record in JSON format? How to represent this lead record in the JSON format? Now let's see practically. Now, create a JSON representation or create a JSON object to represent a lead record. In this case, I'm having that lead record. How can we represent this lead record in the form of JSON format of representation? Now let's see. In this case, the solution is, first of all, to represent some information in the form of JSON, we have to go with the flower tree. Fine. What you want to represent? Lead record. Lead record contains what? So many values. Lead first name, last name, email ID, phone number, fax number, mobile number, and then address information and the status, company, title. So many things are there. But these are not similar type. These are multiple data types. So we need to go with that object. So I'm indicating key lead record. I'm giving the key as lead record and then value. What is that value? We can specify that value over here. We can specify that value. Lead is nothing but a record which contains a collection of elements. So the lead record is having so many elements of different data types. So what I want to do is, I want to represent each and every element inside this object. So different types of elements are available. Like for example, here I'm having the first name. So we can indicate the first name. First name, like as Beta, comma. Last name, Boxer. So this is a Beta Boxer lead record. Beta Boxer lead record. And then I'm indicating email ID. Email I'm indicating like as bboxer@gmail.com, comma. And then I'm indicating that rating. Rating value as heart. And then industry. Industry value I'm indicating as some banking. And then annual revenue. Annual revenue of the lead person, that is like a some 50 lakhs. Here is the numerical. And then I'm indicating the lead person status. I'm indicating open, not contacted. Open, not contacted. And then company. Company. I'm indicating like some IBM incorporation. And then I'm indicating the lead title. I'm indicating sales manager.
Hi, Feroz. In Apex, we are declaring like it is a string, it is an object like that. But here we are just giving the ID and
Yes.
values. How can it be? Yeah, how can it know that it's a string or it's an object?
Now, in this case, whenever you are enclosing this one, this is like as an object. This is the name of the object. This is the value of this object here. This is the JSON representation. Okay, this is the JSON representation.
Okay.
It's like this is like as a variable equals to value we are writing, like the similar way key and the value.
Okay, but how can it recognize whether it is a string or an object or array? How can it represent that? Like
That's
in
what we have.
Apex, we declare that array and the way array name and new and array in that way. But here, how it there Apex will know that whether we are giving a string or array. Here, how just we are giving the key and the values.
This is the key, this is the value. This is nothing but array representation.
Okay.
This is the array representation of numerical. This is the array representation of the string value. That's what I told you, right? Array value should be enclosed with square braces. Whenever you are enclosing something in the square braces, that means array elements.
Okay. Just with the symbols only we can
That's
come
what.
to know.
Right, correct. This is the
Okay.
notation of the JSON. This is how JSON is representing the data, because in Apex we know how to define the variable, how to define a numerical, how to define a string, how to define Boolean, how to define array. We know because there is a different syntax. Here, this is the syntax of JSON.
Okay.
Programming
Thank you.
language to programming language syntax is a bit different, but data type, functionality, everything will be same, no change.
Okay. Yeah, Feroz, one more question. Like, see, we are passing the one record, right? So if the client requires send the related list also, I mean not the related list, the mastered record also. So how can we send that?
Now, at that time, we have to pass that. Child record also we can able to pass. Here we can specify that related record name. Related record details also we can able to supply. Inside this, we have to specify the child record information, and the child record will be like as a related record here.
Okay. Like that we need to go, right?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Now, city, some Hyderabad. And then I'm indicating country, some India. So this is the way we are representing that lead record. Generally, as of now, how to create the lead record through Apex programming, we know. There is a different syntax. Now, if you want to create a lead record through JSON, this is the format we have to follow. So this is a key and this is the value. So this is the object name and these are the values are there for each and every element here. So this is the key name. That means this is the field. This is the value. This is the field. This is the value. So that we need to pass the value for each and every field over here in order to create a lead record. This entire thing we have to enclose with curly braces because this is going to be representing as a JSON format. Okay. Now, next, the next one. One more use case. Now let me show you how to represent a custom object. For example, I'm having a hiring manager object record. This is the record, Balaram Prasad. So how to represent this record in the form of JSON format? Now, let's see. Create the JSON format of representation. JSON format content or JSON content to represent a hiring manager record. To represent a hiring manager record. In this case, as usual, you know that okay, we have to specify curly braces because to indicate this is a JSON content. Specify the key and the value. Key I'm indicating HR record. Value, this is a HR record. This HR record contains what? So many values. Like as HR name and the HR contact number, email ID, and then we are having location. These are the values. So to represent that, we are using this object. Now, so specify that. So what are the field names? Name field. Okay, now we can specify name. I'm indicating like a some Balaram Prasad. Balaram Prasad. Now, this next one, it is having that second field. What is the next field name? Location. So now specify that field over here. View fields. What is the field name exactly? Location. This is the field name. We can represent. Okay, exact field name. And I'm indicating like a some value. And then after that, email ID. Email ID field. I'm indicating like a some Balaram @ some gmail.com. And then the fourth column, that is contact number. Contact number I'm indicating over here like this. So here we are representing not only a standard object, custom objects also we can able to represent, okay, in the form of JSON format. So whenever if you want to represent a record, we have to follow this notation. It may be standard object, it may be custom object also. That facility is available. Now, in this case, here for example, now suppose for example, sometimes I have two account records are there. I have two account records. One is Aditya Kumar, second one is Reliance Industries. These two records I want to represent in the form of JSON format. Then what we can do? What we can do to represent this JSON format? How can we represent in two account records in the form of JSON format? Now let's see practically in this case. Now take a small use case. Write the JSON format of content, to represent. Write the JSON format content to represent the two account records. Two account records. How can we represent two account records over here in the form of JSON? We'll see practically now. Now, in this case, so the solution is we need to prepare the JSON format here. JSON format. Here, what we need to store? We need to store two records. Okay, two lead records we need to store. Then what we can do? I'm indicating lead records. Sorry, account records. Account records. This is the key and this is the value. Okay, we have to specify the key and the value. Here we have to specify the value. Value is what? Two account records I need to store. In this case, how to store the two records? That means one account record. Okay, one account record we have to specify here. Account 1, comma, account 2. This is the account record 2. How can we combine these two? By using that square braces. Square braces means array. This is the key, this is the value. So now here, this is the key and this is the value. Value is nothing but what? This each and every value is nothing but the account record. How to prepare that account record? Let me show you here. You know, lead, how to prepare the lead record, you know. Like the similar way, we have to prepare the account record also. Now, let's see, prepare that account record. Like as I'm indicating name, account record name. Santosh Kumar, comma, rating, I'm indicating heart, and the industry, I'm indicating some finance, and the annual revenue, I'm indicating some 3 crores, and then I'm indicating phone, and I'm indicating fax, and then website, and I'm indicating that building city, like some Hyderabad. I'm indicating customer priority. I'm indicating some high, and the active status I'm indicating as yes. This is one record here. This is one account record. Now, like the similar way, I want to prepare another record also. I want to prepare another record so that here we can specify. Now, this is the second account record I would like to prepare. This both we have to enclose with that square braces here. Both we have to enclose with the square braces here. That's it. This both we have to place inside that square braces. Now, so now this is the second record. But the second record I'm changing the values, like some Reliance Industries. Rating value hard. Industry, some manufacturing. Annual revenue, some 26 crores. Phone number, some value. Tax number, I'm giving some value. Website, some reliance.com. Building city, some Mumbai. Customer priority, some high. Active status, some yes. So like that, here we have prepared multiple records also. Not only storing one record, we can store multiple records also in the form of JSON format. So now here in this case, whenever we are going to be representing the multiple records also, that means whenever if you are representing that a collection of records, we have to follow the array. So this is the key. This is my value. Value means an array. In that array, what we have, two elements are there. This is one element, that means object, that is account record, comma, second account record. Like that, multiple, comma, one more, comma, one more. Like that, multiple account records also we can able to represent inside this JSON format. This is how we are going to be representing the JSON format of content. Okay, this is how we are going to be representing JSON format of content over here. Now, so in this case, okay, in this case, if suppose if somebody has given this kind of JSON format of content, how can we parse? Okay, how can we parse this kind of JSON format of content? How to parse this kind of JSON format of content? What we can do in this case? Whenever if you want to parse this JSON format of content, then we have to use a class called as JSON parser class. JSON parser class. What is the use of this JSON parser class? JSON parser class is used to parse this content. That means we can traverse from starting to ending, collect each and every element, and then we can able to read each and every element and the value by it, okay, through programmatically. Why? Because is that already you know, whenever we are invoking that web service, whenever I'm calling the web service is giving the response in the form of this JSON format. Then how can we store that JSON format of data into my object, into my Salesforce database or into my Oracle database? We have to parse it back to our own type, right? For that one, we are using as part of Salesforce. If third-party application is giving the response in the form of JSON format, then we have to parse the content by using a class called as the JSON parser class. JSON parser is a standard class which has been given by Salesforce. With the help of this JSON parser class, we can able to parse that JSON content. So now as part of this JSON parser class, we are having the various methods are available. Then what are the various methods are available in this JSON parser class, and how to parse this content, we'll see practically in tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session, we'll see how to parse this JSON format of content, and along with that, okay, how can we invoke a web service also. I will show you practically, and then whenever I'm invoking that web service, how it is providing the response back to me, then how can we integrate? Like for example, tomorrow I will show you a practical example over here. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to showing a practical example by integrating with postal pin code. Postal pin code API. So whenever I'm going to be indicating a pin code number, then automatically in that with that pin code, how many postal department branches are available, I would like to collect, I would like to represent on my Visual First page. How to do that we'll see practically in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock, we are having the integration session. Tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock, we are having the integration session, and there we'll see how to parse this content. Along with that, I will show you how can we integrate with this third-party API, postal pin code, I will show you. And then I will give one assignment also to you. Okay, how can we not only exposing our own web services, how can we invoke the third-party web services also? We'll see in tomorrow's session. This is the web service name they have given over here. This is the endpoint URL. Then by using this endpoint URL, how can we collect the data? How can we parse? How can we show this data on my Visual Post page? We'll see practically in tomorrow's session. Okay, don't miss that tomorrow session. Tomorrow morning at 9:30 we are having development session as usual, and then evening 5 o'clock we have integration session. Okay, now so before that you have to go through this JSON format of representation and then try to do some examples on this. Okay, try to do some example. Let's take one lead record and then prepare it in JSON format. And take one case record, prepare in JSON format. Take position record, prepare in JSON format, so that you can feel comfortable with this format of notation also, so that it is very easy for you to understand that response from the third-party application. Then it will be very easy to parse. Okay, now, so go through this content, and then tomorrow we'll see how can we parse this content through programmatically with the help of JSON parser classes, and then how can we integrate with the third-party application. I will show you in tomorrow's session.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.